I am happy to report that polling shows, despite the massive propaganda crusade that the political left undertook against parental rights, that parental rights are still pretty popular in Canada. Ever since Alberta Premier Danielle Smith proposed her strong parental rights legislation, it seemed like the left mobilized even harder on the issue, knowing that polling was probably coming down the line regarding parental rights, and they were hoping that if they pushed hard enough on it, fear-mongered enough, lied enough about what parental rights was, that they could get people to be against the concept. But I think what the left never really considered is the fact that people actually like their kids and they're not just going to believe left wing propaganda about the idea that parental rights are somehow evil, nasty, and it's trying to hurt vulnerable children or whatever. Anyways, but before I go into what the polling says, I just want to do one quick shameless plug that I, Wyatt Claypool, am running for the Calgary Signal Hill Conservative Party nomination. Yes, I am pro-parental rights. I want a parental bill of rights passed on the federal level. So if you live in this part of Calgary, please buy a Conservative Party membership, vote for me number 1 on your ballot, and check out my website in the description below, wyattclaypool.com. Sorry for that. I do need to try and fit that into every video, especially near the start, because I don't think most people watch to the very last second. Anyways, here is what the recent polling shows, and I don't even think these poll questions are very well done. I actually think that they end up siding more with the anti-parental rights side the way that they're framed, but most people are still not falling for it. So this is the poll result that was best for the political left, and it's even not that good still. It reads, and all these are from Ledger, it says, do you feel the federal government should intervene in provinces that are introducing policies regarding transgender youth and challenge the passage of any legislation that may limit/restrict the ability of children to transition? Yes, said 37, no, said 37, unsure, 26. That is their best result, and they're only at neutral on it. And the entire question is framed in such a way as to make it seem like the provinces are doing something nasty, and should the federal government ride to the rescue of transgender youth? Obviously, that's not actually what's going on, but even in that framing, 37% of people said no, the federal government should not get involved, and 26% who were probably unsure were probably confused by the way that the question was phrased. But anyways, here's another one. This question reads, when it comes to the use of puberty blockers/hormone therapies for the purpose of gender reassignment/affirmation, they should be prohibited for those under 18 unless they are already started. 42% of people said that, basically saying, please ban the practice overall. 26% said they should be permitted for those under 15 and on a case-by-case basis with parental consent. That's softly pro-parental rights, and I guarantee most of those people are going to move to the position of just saying get rid of it entirely. And then only 11% of people say they should be permitted for those under 15 and on a case-by-case basis without parental consent. That is the anti-parental rights position, and it only has 11% of Canadians supporting it. Here's another one. It says, when it comes to the question of more mature teens, I assume that they're talking about 15, 16, and 17-year-olds, when it comes to the question of more mature teens and the use of puberty blockers/hormone therapies for the purpose of gender reassignment/affirmation, 35% of people say puberty blockers/hormone therapy should not be allowed for those under 17. 24% say mature teens may only choose to commence puberty blockers/hormone therapies with parental, physician, and psychological approval. So there's literally at least 24% of Canadians want 3 layers of approval. And even only 23% of Canadians say mature teens may choose to commence puberty blockers, hormone therapies without the need of parental approval, but still need approval for a physician and psychological professional. And even then, that's kind of a skewed poll question because the left believes you shouldn't have to need anyone's approval but your own if you're a teenager wanting to undergo sort of gender reassignment or to take different hormones. Even the left's actual position was not included in that, which is truly radical. And again, if these polling questions were done a little bit better, I think that people would even be more on the pro-parental rights side. Here's the last one. It said, when it comes to teachers in secondary school providing a formal instruction on subjects involving gender identity, sexual orientation, or human sexuality, which approach do you feel is most appropriate? Parents must be notified opt-in any instances. That's 32%. Parents must be notified but not required opting in. That's 27%. And parents need not to be notified is only 24% of respondents. And let me make it very clear. The left's position is the last one, that the school should be able to teach whatever they want and they shouldn't even have to notify you. And again, I think even the people thinking that, yes, they should be able to teach it, but they should have to notify me, those people over time, when they know what some of these school systems want to teach, are going to go to the point where they say, no, it must be also opt in. And better yet, stop teaching it entirely. The left's position is so radical on this issue, it doesn't matter how much they lied or fear-mongered, pretending this is going after vulnerable kids and all this other stuff, or the concept of parental rights doesn't even exist. The left's position was so obviously a big government sort of seizing of parental rights, of parental power in the family relationship, that even people who might vote Liberal or NDP had swung against it. 7 or 8 months ago, the polling showed 78% of people across Canada, not just in Alberta, across Canada, were in favor of parental consent or notification being needed for a child to identify as opposite gender pronouns. I think that what we are seeing with these polling results are not only a result of some sort of iffy questions not really phrased in the right way, but the 3-week propaganda effort undertaken by the left. The fact that they weren't able to become the majority opinion in this poll after 3 weeks of mass propaganda is really telling. And in another 3 to 6 weeks, I guarantee the parental rights position will have become more popular after the effects of the propaganda sort of campaign undertaken by the left kind of start to wear off. You can do this in politics where even if people generally, want to lower taxes, if you go on a massive propaganda campaign, if we lower taxes and we don't raise taxes, services are going to, basically evaporate. Canada's going to become a hellhole. There's not going to be any police and whatnot. You can get people to be on the side of not lowering taxes or raising them. But, after that propaganda effort ends, people are going to go back to their normal position of thinking, yeah, taxes are too high in this country. You can only keep people agreeing with your radical position for so long, and the left does not have the political capital to stay focused on this issue and keep hammering away at the parental rights concept. They were going to lose, and this is demonstrating what the polling looks like after their most intense fire being trained on parental rights. So I think that we're pretty safe as Canadians that the left is not going to be able to win this debate. Anyways, that should be it for me today. Just reminding people, again, Wyatt Claypool, I'm running for the Calgary Signal Hill Conservative nomination. The website I have is in the description below, wyattclaypool.com. And then also I have my Give, Send, Go campaign also linked in the description below. It's for the TNT Legal Fund. We have a developer suing us for defamation, even though we never defamed him at all. He has no evidence we defamed him. And our guest writer who mentioned him in an article based all the information on him on a Globe and Mail article that had already been out for almost 2 years up to that point. It's a very silly lawsuit. He has no actual point. He's just trying to bully us into giving him a fake apology so he can pretend everything ever said about him is somehow disputed or wrong, even though we weren't even the original people to repeat it. But that's just how courts go in Alberta. There's no anti-slap legislation for us to demand that a judge just throw this out of court. So we've been forced to sort of suffer through this. I'm $25,000 in the hole fighting this, so any money you can give to that legal fund really helps me out. But other than that, that's it for me today. I'll probably come out with another video later or a live stream. I'm not even kidding. This video probably took me about 96 tries to re-record it. I've had way too much coffee today, and my head was buzzing while I was trying to think of things to say in the correct order. Like, I was slurring my words so much during this thing. I need to go get a cup of tea. I don't know why you people need to know this, but this is just me working the caffeine out of my system right now. Anyways, have a good one, guys.